Good morning, everybody. Happy Monday to you. We are back here on Project Joy Live for an all new episode. We've got Trista Polo here today. We've got some catching up to do today, and we're going to dive into a topic that I think we all could use a little homework on. So we're going to get started with an all new episode of Project Joy Live right now. Good morning, everybody. Happy Monday to you. I'm your host, Jessica Dugas, and this is Project Joy Live. It's your triple shot of good vibes, usually every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. I had the week off last week. I missed you guys so much. And I was saying to Trista before the show, when I say week off, I mean like my schedule is about 75% less than usual. So it's really good to be back with you guys today, though. And I always, my wheels get to spinning when I have time off because, I'm not here with you all and didn't have Pomodoro co-working, didn't have the show. I came back for the Breakthrough show on Friday, but, you have this extra time and your brain just starts going down the rabbit hole. And one of those things that came to the top of my mind was this topic about receiving that we're going to talk about with Trista today. But I want to check in with you guys, see how you're doing, and let's talk about what we're going to be doing on the show today in our morning brew. Here we go. Let me know if you're awake. Is everybody awake, stretching? Are we feeling good this morning? Find the comment section. Let me know where you're joining us from this morning. And of course, what is bringing you joy. I will catch you up really briefly here. So you can see I'm wearing a new shirt today. I ain't mad at it from the Shelly Belly tour. You guys might remember Michelle Ryder that was on the show a few years ago. I had connected with her on TikTok. I thought she was so funny and really just, she's hilarious. And so she came on the show and, at the end of the Breakthrough show, I'm always asking people like, what do you have going on? And she was like, stuff, she really couldn't say much of anything. And I'm like, okay. And then after that, I remember sitting in my bedroom and I had the TV on and I love little certain game shows and reality shows. And I was very excited because the new lineup for the show, The Circle on Netflix was coming out and I wanted to see who was competing. So I go and I remember watching, kind of standing up, and I went to go sit on my bed just as they made the announcement that Michelle Ryder, Shelly Belly, was going to be a contestant, and I fell on the floor. Literally fell on the floor, and I was so excited for her. And now I knew why she couldn't say anything when she was on the show, because she was under contract and everything else. And so she had done the show, and then she had come back on the Breakthrough show. We talked about her experience and everything. With The Circle. For those of you, I don't want to spoil anything, but she wasn't on there for very long. It was a horrible, horrible thing. But she's so funny and so sweet. And I told her when I moved up to Connecticut, I said, if you ever come up here and do a show, I will be front row, because we had seen her as well in Huntsville, Alabama, when we lived down there. And so she came up here, and sure enough, we were front row. And it's been like 2.5 years since then, since I saw her in person. And I do look a little bit different. She didn't recognize me. And when I said, God, Michelle, it's been 2.5 years, she goes, oh my God. And she freaks out. And it was so great. And she was telling everybody, she's like, no, no, no. I know her like personally, like we're friends. And so she was just so sweet. And she wanted me to send her love to everybody here on the show. She really I so appreciate her. She's so uplifting and just so encouraging, and is so always encouraging for what we do here on the Breakthrough Show Network. So sending some love to Michelle Ryder. And if y'all haven't seen it yet, we did get another shirt. It is not appropriate for a morning show. My husband has it on in my Facebook story. So if you're friends with me on Facebook, you can now go to my Facebook story and see the monster that Michelle Ryder has made out of my husband. So you can go and check that out. Spoiler alert. Don't do it right now after the show. In addition, we had my son that still lives at home is going to be 19 this month. Hello, September. Hello, feeling old. So my son is going to be 19, and we've kind of been doing, I've shared with you guys like the concert thing this year. I really wanted to go to a lot of shows, and that includes comedy shows. And so I asked him, I'm like, we could get you tickets to whatever. Who do you want to see? He wanted to see Gabriel Fluffy Iglesias, who was going to be at Foxwoods Casino. So we saw him last night, and it was such a good show. Foxwoods Resort Casino, Mashantucket, Connecticut. We saw him there, and it was opened by, let me get my notes because my brain, Martine, that he's always talking about, Martine Moreno, and then also Matt Golightly. Very funny opening acts, so hilarious. And then he was great. It was a good long show. Like the openers performed about an hour, and then we had that we had a 20-minute intermission, which was also funny because there was like a countdown on the screen, and you kept hearing his voice going, you better go to the bathroom because this is a long show. And so it was very good. And then he performed for about an hour. So about 2.5 hour show, which is pretty lengthy for comedy. So it was really good. Great show. And then we had dinner prior at Hell's Kitchen, because I've shared with you guys, even though there are there's words out there that Gordon Ramsay doesn't like vegans. That's not actually true. He has a whole vegan menu at Hell's Kitchen. So we really enjoyed that, had a good time. Yeah, it was a good night. But I took the last week off, been kind of regrouping things, getting us ready. We have the World Building Expo coming up on the 10th and the 11th this month. It's going to be a great month, and I'm excited. I'm excited about everything to come for the rest of the year. August, Kevin Kiley, I talked to him briefly on text this morning, and as he said, August could kick rocks. And I think many people felt like that. So if you felt like that, we're kicking off September, with the high vibe goodness here. Miss Brittany's out there in that VIP seat. Good morning. Happy Monday to you. There's Miss Mandy. Happy September. Grand Rising to you. Teresa's here today. Good morning. Good to see you. Nancy's here. Yes. Happy Labor Day. Happy Labor Day. Sending love from New York City. This coffee is bringing me so much joy. I would feel that, except I don't have a delicious coffee here. Mandy, can you send me one, please? Nancy said, I completed my workout at the Breakthrough Network gym, even though I had many interruptions. I finished. Yes, something really amazing to celebrate this morning as well is that today marks 8 weeks since there's several of us who have made the commitment to get up in the morning and do. Okay, so I will say what my goal was. My goal was to just show up. okay, because we have in our virtual community, the Breakthrough Show Network Club, one of the rooms there is a gym. And the idea behind the gym is like if we were doing our own workouts at home, we could be in the same space together. And so I just committed I said, look, I'm just going to show up. I'm going to show up and I'm going to move my body however I feel intuitively moved to move it. And so we have, and today marks 8 weeks. I can't believe it's been 8 weeks already. Nancy joins us, Brittany, Teresa. You can find the information on our calendar at the breakthroughshownetwork.com or .club, and you're always welcome to jump in. But we meet at 7 days a week, every morning at 7 a.m. We read the poem, Dorothy's for Love poem, and then we meet up in the gym about 7:15 and get our stretching and workouts on, and it's been great. It's been great. So happy 8 weeks, ladies. Let's see. Thank you so much. Yeah, I love the color of the shirt. My Shelly Belly shirt from the last show is black, and y'all know we had this whole discussion recently. I love black, and so I wear a lot of black, but this brings a little color into my life. Quite a few chefs have gotten over their dislikes of vegan because it makes them work harder. Yeah, very true. Yes, I need the coffee. Yes, 8 weeks. Very exciting. Very exciting. Well, I am thrilled, you guys, because my friend Trista Polo is back with us today. And we, as you know, Trista is the author of Self-Love Shenanigans. And we have been talking about a lot of different topics where self-love is concerned. And I feel like we're both really passionate about what we're gonna talk about today. So without further ado, everybody, please welcome back my friend Trista Polo. Good morning, Trista.
Good morning.
Good to see you today.
You too. I'm so happy to be here.
Yes.
Happy Labor Day. Happy 8 weeks of working out to everyone. Can I just tell you, while you were talking before I came on, I wanted to participate in the chat because the chat looks amazing. And I ended up leaving the studio because it wanted me to sign in. So I'm not in the chat, but I'm there with you all in spirit and of course here. And I have just so much love for everybody.
Yay. I'm so glad that you're back. I feel like I don't know. August felt like some sort of time warp.
Mm-hmm. It did. Definitely
Not sure what happened there. Yeah. And I feel like it's been a whole year since I've seen you, Trista. But at the same time, so fast I don't know. It's you felt it too in August.
Time has been messing with us. I saw a post a few times where it's like January, February, and then the words just started like going longer and longer. Like every month is getting to be this mountain to climb. And yet, how is it September? How is it Labor Day? What have we been doing all year? I feel like time's messing with us a little bit. It's having a little fun with us.
Little bit. Yeah. It's the weirdest thing. Like things that normally feel like, I don't know, like time goes slowly, but it's actually going quicker. I don't know. I'm here just floating along. I'm on like a little duck floaty.
I'm actually like on the wood that's floating along, like hanging on for dear life, hoping not to drown. So you're the duck, and I'll just wave as my life flashes before my eyes.
The duck. So funny. So when we go down by Mystic River, Mystic, Connecticut. Yes, it's near Mystic Pizza. The Mystic River. There's a giant duck. And somebody had you have all these big, beautiful ships. They have the Charles W. Morgan at Mystic Seaport and all these beautiful old ships. And then there's this big yellow rubber duck.
Nice.
Out there.
Nice.
I always think about that.
Let's normalize whatever you want to swim in, whatever you want to sail in. Let's just normalize it all.
Yes. Listen, Brittany said she's so glad the Burr months are here. I agree. I love September, October, November, December. Those are my favorite months.
Yeah, they're good months. I like that it's cool out, and I'm all about a breeze.
Yes.
I love a good breeze. I learned on a cruise with my mother in last year in November that she hates wind and breezes. So she wouldn't sit on the deck of the boat.
What?
And I was like, what's wrong with you? Like, that's the best. It's the best.
That's the only way I can breathe.
I know. I like the windows open. I like to be out on my porch. Give me a breeze every day.
last night in Gabriel Iglesias' show, he had a little joke where he was talking about how he's single now and he has relationships for different purposes, which I was here for this conversation because we love this conversation about compartmentalizing. He was talking about it in a little different way, but he was talking about, and I literally was smacking my husband. I was laughing so hard because he was talking about how when it comes to, he needs a certain kind of woman for cuddling and not for anything else other than they can agree on temperature. He's like, I'm a big boy. I run hot. Yeah. And I don't need this little tiny girl coming and talking about how she's cold.
That's right. That's right. My husband and I have always agreed on temperature, which I'm happy to say that. Yeah. Because these people have you ever seen the show, The Big Bang Theory?
Yeah.
There's like an agreement. They have a roommate agreement or something. And there's an agreement of what temperature it should be. And so there's this one episode where they're like, Leonard, is that why you're always wearing hoodies? He's like, I'm always chilly. Like they could never agree on temperature. I just wouldn't want to live like that. So
that's what he said. He's like, I know what I want at this point in my life, and I don't want to argue about the temperature.
That's right. That's right. So shout out to the partners who are cool with the temperature you're at. I love it.
Yes. Okay. So our topic today, we're talking about.
We can talk about this all day. But
we're just going to keep talking about absolutely nothing. So we're talking about receiving today, and I think that this topic, there were several reasons I think that it popped into my head over the last week, because I like to, when I take time off, and I mentioned this, I like to spiral. I like to be to think about a concept and just completely go down the rabbit hole.
Yes.
It's about me and my business, which makes it very emotional. And I will sit here and cry for like a whole week. And I couldn't, everything that I was trying to say felt like it was coming out in sort of gibberish. So it was important to me to receive some outside feedback, but that's not always the easiest to do when it comes to something that you're very attached to and emotional about. Yeah. And so I that was just one of the many reasons. And also, I had scheduled this time off because I wanted to get stuff done around the house, and in preparation for fall, because this is I love the burr months and I'm excited about it, but I needed to clean my house and do things that have been neglected. And the day after I started this vacation, I hurt my hip.
Oh my gosh! So you better not clean during a vacation. Hello.
So I had all of this stuff planned that I was going to do, and it went out the window. I couldn't I still got things done as I needed to, but I've been walking very slowly, much more intentional about my movements. I can't just throw myself on the floor and go through things like I would normally. Yeah. And so I had to be like, okay, you can help. It's hard for me to do that when I feel like I have to do everything. And I think that that's one of the many things that we have. But talk to me about what kind of receiving has been like for you.
Well, I want to comment on that. Did you ever consider that your body was giving you a gift?
Yeah, that was the receiving.
Right? I mean, if you can't, what's the saying? God will whisper and then he will shout.
Yeah.
So you maybe just needed to relax a little more, and you weren't planning on it, and you weren't committed to that. And so your body said, well, I want to relax a little more. Let's do whatever it takes. Luckily, it was only a hip issue. Could have been worse.
Well, it was so funny because it was the gift that kept giving all week long. And I think in a way I do have to sort of view things like that as a gift. Otherwise, I would lose my mind, because I've been very open on the show before about I've had a lifetime of chronic health issues since as young as I can remember. I had different, like, just weird things going on with my body, and so that's been a lot to deal with, in the sense of a lot of times I've had to, in my view at the time, have had to watch life pass me by, because because a lot of times, even as a child, I couldn't do things that other people my age were doing. And so it's tough. It's tough to watch that happen. But I think, we can continue to let things, it's not passing us by. It just might look different than what we thought.
I love that you're saying that, because as we all know, I've talked about it before, the accident I was in February, which, how is that already? Yeah. It's September.
I can't believe it's been
Talk
that
about
long.
My life passing me by.
Yeah.
I've basically been watching it from the couch, and it is hard not to judge myself, to feel like I'm missing out. It's tough to be not be resentful, and to feel obligated to try and do things I'm not up for, because that's what I'm supposed to be doing if I was a person in society. So definitely I've had that journey this year, and it's a big one. It's a life lesson, and there's a lot of different ways to go through it. I'm going to tell you, I haven't been like super positive all the time about it, like I know some people would be, but I've done a lot of healing and a lot of reflecting from it, which is probably what I needed to do. Yeah. But in terms of receiving, so I want to tell a little story first. I was learning to be a real estate appraiser, and you have to go through like a 2-year apprenticeship. At least we did back then. And the woman I was working for, she got paid for a job, and I didn't do a ton for the job, but I helped because I was still in the very early learning stages. And so she gave me, I don't know if it was like $20 or $50 or whatever. And I said, oh my goodness, I couldn't take that. I couldn't take your money. I'm still learning. What did I do? And she's like, okay, and took it back. And then she said, never say no to a gift of money or anything else, or it will leave you. And that was such like this little lesson in abundance, just sort of out of nowhere. Yeah. So now I learned from that moment, if money's offered to me, I accept it. It's hard sometimes, but I do. Yeah. If there's the last piece of whatever on the table and it's like, does anybody want this? I take it if I want it. I don't take it just to be a jerk, but if I want it, I take it because it's being offered to me.
Right.
And I every time have to just kind of coach myself, like, it's okay. You're not a terrible person. You're not stealing. You're not, doing something bad or wrong. You're being offered generosity. You're being offered abundance. And when you accept it, you receive more. And I have to tell myself that this was 20 years ago, literally still every time. Yeah. But it's a practice that I've continued because it makes a huge difference. Yeah. So that's one of the stories that I have around receiving, and it's probably my most profound one.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, I think one of the things that around receiving is example. So this story always gets me. My grandmother and my aunt, before they each are passed now, but they used to go to the casino together to play bingo, and leading up to bingo, they would go play some penny slots, and one of the times they had went, one of them had like forgotten their wallet, or so, I don't know. It was some sort of situation where the other one had to like lent money to the other. And it wasn't like a lot really, but it was one of those things where my aunt and my grandmother were very independent. So especially after my grandfather got sick, my grandmother became very independent. And so I remember the next day, my aunt coming over to my grandmother's, and they literally got physical with each other in the kitchen, not like a fight, but like, because they were trying to pay each other back. And the other one was like, no, you don't pay me back. And she's like, yes, I do. Finally, my my grandmother stuck the money in my aunt's bra, like literally brawling in the kitchen over paying each other back. And I'm like, I just remember seeing things like being completely taken back. Like,
Yeah.
can we just be okay? And like, even, my husband is a Taurus, and he is very specific about what he does and what he likes. And and this is a warning for any of you that ever go out to eat with us. When we go out, my husband pays, period, end of story. He doesn't care who you are, how
Yeah.
much money you have. Like, that's just like, he pays. Like, if you're with us by yourself, he pays. And so that's caused some things too.
Well, I have to say about that, you have like friends you go out with a lot. And so one of them pays and then the other one pays the next time.
Yeah.
I feel like there's some sort of invisible scoreboard that's hanging over and this is not from anything judgy. It's a thing for me. I feel like there's this scoreboard hanging over us in our relationship, like who has paid, how much they've spent, whose turn is it? And I know I'm bringing that to the table, which is why I said this isn't judgy. It's not about my friends. If they're watching this, they'll be like, oh, she's talking about us. But it's like this thing I have, because that's that reciprocity thing. I don't want to feel like I'm taking advantage of somebody. I don't want to feel like I'm getting more than my share. And that all comes from a lot of childhood stuff. I have a friend, I'm going to call him out, Christian Manners. Very, very, very good friend of mine. Love him. We worked together in New York City. And he would go down for like a break or a meal or an office meeting or out of the office meeting. And every time he came back, he would bring me, there are these little white cream filled with a nut inside with like the coconut on top. It's like Raffaello or something, like 3 in a pack.
Yeah.
He would always just come in and set it on my desk and leave. Wouldn't even stay for a thank you, because most of the time I didn't give him a thank you. It was like, he would do it because he knew it made me uncomfortable, because it was from love. Like, you need to grow this muscle, Missy. And those still some of my favorite candies to this day. And I consider them fancy, so I don't get them all the time. But whenever I do, he's on my heart. So he'll always be connected to those candies for me. But, so many lessons. And I just wonder, do you have lessons like that you carry around about receiving? Does our audience have these little things, like memories that stick with you because they were hard or they continue to be there?
Yeah. I mean, Brittany was talking about, she struggles the most with receiving. And it was so funny because she messaged me like, why does this always happen with the Breakthrough Show? And I'm like, what? And she was like, I was just talking about receiving for 2 hours. And then I saw the episode pop up and I was like, well, we're here to serve. We're here to serve. And I know when you were talking specifically about the scoreboard, and Nancy said she hears you on that as well. I feel like that's another big reason, especially those of us who may or may not have had a history with people pleasing, and other things like that. I don't know who we're talking about here, but anyway, I think that there is that a lot of us may not want to work that receiving muscle because we may feel like we project like we can't give back. We can't meet whatever. We can't meet, like, possibly give them as much as they've given us, or the time that they've given us, or whatever, And I think that that's another thing that really holds us back from receiving, is that whether we feel or don't feel an ability to repay or somehow.
And I think what you're pointing to is self-worth. Like, we don't feel like we have the worth. Put a money tag on the worth. I don't have enough money. I'm not generous enough. I'm too selfish. They won't want what I have to offer. Maybe they'll leave me before I have a chance to pay back the kindness. It's all that worth stuff that comes in.
Because to receive is acknowledging your self-worth. So I just want to, I'm going to say a nasty word really quick. You ready? I'm going to say an M word. Martyr, that a lot of people really don't like, including me sometimes. when imagine, okay, if we're not allowing ourselves to open up and receive, because receiving is us acknowledging our value, but we want to go ahead and be like, humble,
Mhm.
and we're just lowly and nothing, and
Mhm.
if I receive this, that says something about me, so then we're not doing, and then we get to keep playing the martyr game.
Yeah. Yeah. I want to talk about the other side of that. How does the person, so when you give something to someone, how does it make you feel to give? Do you
Oh, so
enjoy
good. That's
giving?
like my favorite thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And so how do you think the person who's giving to you feels when they get to give something to you?
Mm.
The same
Yep.
way, right? They
We're
get to be
taking it away from
generous,
them.
they get to be awesome, they get to make somebody's life better, and then you reject it.
Yeah. Yeah.
How generous are we being
I
when
know.
we're rejecting the generosity of others? So I receive more easily now because I remind myself that I'm giving them the gift of generosity and I'm
Mm.
not taking it away,
Right.
because there's something to the other side of things. We're so centered in ourselves. We're so self-focused. And of course, that's what all of our thoughts are about. Us,
Mm.
how people think about us, what we're going to do about other people. But when we think about the outside, like the generosity coming to me, it sort of helped me create a paradigm shift. Like, let me be generous. Maybe I don't really think I deserve it, but let me
Mm.
be generous and let them know they gave me something I appreciate, so that
Yeah.
they can at least have the gift of giving.
Yeah. Yeah, it's such a great point. Like, when we don't receive, what are we taking away from the person that, even, okay, I'll even use this as an example. Last night we're sitting at the table for dinner, and Hell's Kitchen is very fancy. They have like 900 people waiting on you. It's not just one
Yeah.
waiter. You have like one person that pours your water, one person that seats you at the table, one person that takes your order, one person, three people that bring you out your food. It's very overwhelming.
Like
So
everybody's holding the plate.
talk about needing to receive, like, oh
Yeah,
god, okay,
yeah,
thank
yeah.
you. But so we ordered a bottle of Pellegrino for the table, and there's a guy that his only job is to fill the water, and my husband was like, no, I don't want any water, and he looked like he was just gonna
Yeah.
have a whole meltdown. And so I like, this was his only job, damn it, and you took it
Yes,
away from him. So
yes.
I literally, when he left the table, I said to my husband, I'm like, does it really matter if I mean, I'll drink your water.
Right.
Just let him fill up your water. He looks so disappointed and so sad that you're not letting him fill. Please let him fill up the water when he comes back. The guy never came.
Wow. He
Our
needs my
waitress.
book.
I'm just like, oh God, fill up,
Wow.
let him fill up the water, please.
Yes.
But even little things like that, like, and I feel the same way. Like, have you ever made something for someone, or like cooked a meal and someone was like, oh, I'm not hungry, or like whatever, if that's fine if they're not, but my granny would have been like, sit down, you look like you need to
Mine
eat. Like,
too.
my
Mine
granny
too.
would have been like that. But it
Yeah.
was yeah, it's one of those things, like, I've been on that side before, where I've really wanted, like, here's a gift, and then it's not received, for whatever reason. It even if it's not malicious, it still makes me sad.
Yeah. And if we're not hungry, if we don't have room for it, if it's not part of our decor, that's one thing. But if it's only because of our self-worth that we're
Yeah.
rejecting it, then that's
Yeah.
an opportunity for us to flip the thought, be
Right.
generous, and take one for the team. Just let your self-worth issues, put a pin in that so that you can be generous to the other person, give them the gift of giving.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely, 100%. Do you have any like final tips if people are struggling with receiving, maybe like a tip for them, or something that they can do homework this week?
Yes, give more and ask more. So go
Mm.
out and give and
Oh,
really
asking.
experience.
We should do a whole episode on asking. Oh
Yeah,
God. Okay.
experience what it feels like to give, so you can remind yourself what you're giving somebody the gift of. And then ask three people for something. There's a trend going on TikTok right now, rejection therapy. And it comes from the, go out and say no or get no's as many times as you can. It's a vibe. The Go for No people, I've loved them for a really long time.
Yeah.
And so it's all about going out and getting rejected. So it's not about that. For this, it's just about asking to practice being willing to receive. Yeah. And maybe you'll get a bonus of being willing to be rejected too when it happens.
Yeah. I don't like that bonus. Okay.
All right, no bonus. No bonus.
No. I'm not looking for buy one, get one free today. Thanks so much. No, thank you. Speaking of thank yous, my tip would be to practice saying thank you. When you receive, just say thank you without deflecting, minimizing yourself or the gift, without saying, what can I do for you? Just say thank you. And that practice alone will have you coming back here crying week after week.
I love that. So simple. 2 words.
That's it. Thank you.
Yes.
That's it. And it's hard. Listen, I tell you guys all the time, the things that we share on this show are not things that I am immune to and have not had to practice 8 million times myself. Thank you as a complete sentence. Yes.
I love that.
Absolutely. Whole sentence. All right. Are you sticking around, Trista, for birthdays?
Yeah.
Are we doing it? All right. We're going to take a look at a little project that's coming out in November that Miss Trista was actually a part of. The Friendship Paradox teaser is coming up now. We'll be right back after this with birthdays.
On April 4th, I was 90 years old, grandson of slaves. My parents were first generation free. A long time ago, I embraced the definition of love. Love is the experience of well-being. And a friend is one who mutually shares that experience of well-being with you, which opens up almost infinite creative possibilities.
Welcome back to Project Joy Live. That gets me in my feelings every time. Friendship Paradox premieres the day after Thanksgiving here in the United States, Friday, November 29th. Very exciting. And I'm thrilled for this project to finally come out because I'm tired. And so talk about emotional. It just sends me down the whole rabbit hole there. I'm so excited for that. Yes, we are thrilled about this project. I'm so happy that you were part of it too, Trista, because it's nice to have some of my friends in the project, new friends, old friends. It's unique perspective I got to have, so I'm excited to share that perspective with you all coming up in November. It's time for birthdays. Let's do it.
Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday to all those that are celebrating. Do you have any birthdays you're celebrating today, Trista?
Yes, I do. So I have a very good friend, Theo Tilton. His birthday is today. And on the 4th is my sister, Dava Smith. She's an amazing assistant principal, and her birthday is on the 4th. And a childhood friend, Diana Caracoli, whose name you just want to say over and over again. Her birthday is also on the 4th.
I'm sure that as I typed out these names, I butchered all 3 of them.
That's all right. It's all good. It's the spirit and thought.
We're gonna find out. I love it. I love to say this birthdays. In the world of celebrity, Keanu Reeves is 60 years old today.
Wow, go Keanu.
I heard through the grapevine that he's like the best person on planet Earth.
I heard that too.
I've heard that. I want to meet him so I can determine for myself. Keanu, hello. Okay.
Yeah.
Selma Hayek, 58 years old and doesn't look it for sure. And you know what's wild though? People look so much younger now than they did. There's a couple memes that will go around in like the Gen X group that talks about, like, for example, Seinfeld, like how I always thought they were older than what
Yes. Yes, indeed.
actually were.
That's right.
No offense, Jerry. Okay.
Luke Grant was supposed to be in his 40s
Mm,
in the Mary Tyler Moore Show. Now I'm dating myself, but that's still
Well.
on things. I've seen that on things.
oh gosh. Comedian Cat Williams, 53 years old today. Happy birthday. And then famed from the Pittsburgh Steelers, Terry Bradshaw is 76 years old today.
Wow.
So he's living the life over there. Over the last week, I got to have a couple birthday honorable mentions from the Breakthrough Show Network. Our own host of Rewriting Reality, Shiraz Babu, had a birthday last week. Happy birthday. And then Rochelle Rayner, that was on the Breakthrough Show very recently, had a birthday. And then some friends, Tia Mincy, David Don, Ginny Young, Lisa Holiday, Juliet Stapleton, and Haley Halleck are both tomorrow. They've both been on the Breakthrough Show before. And let's see, Teresa's grandson, Jake, and her amazing daughter-in-law, Amy. Happy birthday. Yes, I've heard so many things about Keanu Reeves. Brittany says Seinfeld is one of her favorites. Love it. So let's get our birthday song on. Trista, you ready?
A cacophony of noise. Let's do it.
Here we go. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. My dog's joining us.
Yes. Happy birthday, dear. Oh God. Keanu Reeves, Selma Hayek, Cat Williams, Terry Bradshaw, Shiraz, Rochelle, Tia, David, Ginny, Lisa, Julia, Haley, Theo, David, Jana, Diana. Oh God. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to all those that are celebrating. That's that Muppet energy that we bring out here in the morning with the birthday song.
Yeah.
We're always bopping behind the scenes over here for that Muppet energy.
Behind the scenes, in front of the scenes.
I love it. Okay, so what do you have going on, Trista? What are you working on? Anything fun, exciting, anything to share?
I do. I want to share something really fun. It's mostly on TikTok, but I'm trying to get it onto other avenues as well. It's just like, the more you have, the more you do. So I have been feeding the crows. Have I told you about this?
Yes.
Well, they are coming in droves. I have a full murder now. Yesterday, we counted like 9 crows at the feeder at once. I have a squirrel who comes on the regular, and just tons of content about feeding the squirrels, the food they like, the 10% vig from my fridge that they get every day, the feeder restocking videos. So I would love to share those with anybody who's into birds, bird feeders, crows, squirrels. It's got it all.
Love it. And what's the account on TikTok?
It's just my name, Trista Polo.
Trista Polo on TikTok. You guys go follow her, okay? And I'm so amused by wildlife.
I know.
I do with wildlife sometimes how I do with people that I'm like people watching from far. Like I make up scenarios of like what they're saying.
Absolutely. I love that. If I was a better editor, all of these would have like reality show drama going on that I would create.
Yes.
But the editing is a little overwhelming to do that. Otherwise, I'd be there.
See, this is why you guys are my people, because I've said that I do that to other people before, and I'm like, you know how sometimes you'll be sharing with someone what you do, and you're like not looking at their face, and then by the time
Yeah.
you get done explaining what you do, you look up and they're like,
yeah. That's just not your people.
Oh,
They're just
I
not
thought-
your people.
I thought I wasn't the only one. I guess I'm the only one. Okay.
You're just the
That's
only one at
exciting.
that table.
Yeah, I guess I just need to move to a different table to come on Project Joy is where I need to be.
There you go.
Yes, I love that. Make sure you guys follow Trista. We have some exciting stuff going on the Breakthrough Show Network this week. We have Teresa's meditation coming up at 10 a.m. in our virtual community. You go to the breakthroughshownetwork.club, and under chill spaces, you will find our meditation room, and you go, and Teresa's meditations are wild because I don't know a lot of people who have done guided interactive meditations. And so Teresa takes us on a magic carpet ride to somewhere, and it's just amazing. So join us 10 a.m. this morning. We also have co-working coming up at 12:55. It's Labor Day though, so if you want to take the day off, that's totally fine. We are grilling this afternoon. So after Pomodoro, we have company coming, and we're going to eat is what we're going to do. But we have Craft Circle coming up tomorrow night at 6:00. Wednesday, you guys know there's a very exciting movie premiere on Thursday. Do you know what it is, Trista?
No.
Beetlejuice 2.
Oh,
I'm so excited.
Okay.
I'm so excited. So on Wednesday night, in honor of the 2 coming out on Thursday, Wednesday night, we are watching the first Beetlejuice movie in our theater room in the virtual community. So come join us for that, 6:00 on Wednesday. I'll also be back for Project Joy Wednesday and Friday. We have Pomodoro both those days. So lots of goodness happening. And for my hosts or anybody interested in hosting a show, we have a host meeting coming up on Friday at 6:00. So you can join us for that as well. And that's it. That's what we have going on. And I appreciate all of you being here today. Thank you, Miss Trista, for joining me.
It is always such a pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me back.
Yes. And we will, Trista will be back the first Monday of next month, and we will see you guys. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to go back and be Love you guys so much. I'm your host, Jessica Dugas. I want to remind you to make joy a priority in your life today and every day. We'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.